not your usual Sunday morning wake-up. Exactly now, it is 7 o'clock in Amman, capital of Jordan, on Sunday, 26th of June 2011. In a few minutes, the Palestinian national football team will be heading for Queen Alia International Airport. That itself is enough to get all 24 men clumsy, cranky and nervous. Most of them have learned by now that a Palestinian passport means hassle at any border in the world. In charge of managing the team is Coach Moussa Bezaz, a 57-year-old Frenchman. Coach Bezaz is assisted by Franco-Algerian Nourdin Oudali, who's also his interpreter at times. In a few hours, Team Palestine will travel via Dubai to Dushanbe, capital of Tajikistan. They are to face in a two-leg match another country that the world is watching closely, Afghanistan. In the minds of the Palestinians, flashes of the tactical details grasped over 10 days of preparation in Jordan. In their guts, stress, pressure, and pain to come. On the organization side, well, the team is still young, but the Palestinian-born staff members know that the road to victory can be rather bumpy. Bumpy was also the start with the Palestinian side for Coach Moussa Bezaz.
It took me a while to fully understand the mechanisms and the everyday life of the Palestinians. As we went along, I faced issues I was completely unaware of, for instance, how to gather the team together. We soon realized we had a problem with players from Gaza traveling. I was never able to go there because a blockade is in place. You also have a status for players who come from the West Bank, who also play in the West Bank. Then you have players who come from Gaza, but play in the West Bank. That's another status altogether. We have as well players from Arab families who stayed in Jerusalem in 1948. I don't exactly understand what happened at the time, but it has to do with the Declaration of Independence of Israel. We have players living abroad, whether they originally come from Gaza or from the West Bank makes a difference in their status too. And there are the foreigners, so to speak, players who live in Chile or in the USA, but they don't have the same problems as the others do.
Chilean passport indeed for Roberto Bichara, who plays for Palestino in Santiago de Chile. Roberto knows very little Arabic, but football is an international language. For Fayed Atal, based here in Jordan, where he plays professional football for an Amman club, no problems either. Except maybe for a nasty blister that gets the medical staff to work before the plane has even taken off. Star goalkeeper Abdullah Sedawi has worn the Palestinian jersey in an official match before anybody on this squad. That makes him the automatic captain by team rules, at least for now. Reading of a different type for Coach Bezaz, always looking to sharpen his eyes on his sport and keen to share his views on his squad.
I view them as street footballers, as we used to call them in the 60s in France. Kids who would play in the schools and the streets or anywhere, really. So these guys have sort of like Brazilian players or anyone who grew up playing football just anywhere. That's the kind of technique they have. Palestinians are spontaneous, unlike the formatted players from the football schools nowadays. They are still creative, a bit like in African football, but they lack organization and proper work. And that too is obvious when you see them play.
Gate 11, the sign that the real trip is about to start for the Palestinian football team. And guess what? We are going along. Just being on the plane is an accomplishment for most of the guys. Some from Gaza were once considered as security risk and denied exit by the Israeli powers. Algerian-born Nourdin Oudali has learned to deal with Israeli customs.
Going into the country as well as going out of it is very complicated. My very first time going into Israel went wrong. I was withheld in custody, or for my own security, as they like to say, for 7 hours. I ended up going through, but since then, every time I show up at an Israeli border, I am good for 1 or 2 hours of interrogation.
Harsh reality makes dreams all the more sweeter. What if Palestine were to win this away leg against Afghanistan? And then the return leg in Ramallah too. It is only a dream for now. The truth is, however, that this team is gelling quickly in spite of very different backgrounds. Hussam Abu Saleh, for example, is one of the 3 Israeli Arabs on the squad. He lives in Jerusalem like 1.3 million Arabs and plays for Hilal Al-Quds, the one Arab team from East Jerusalem. As we land in Dubai, Team Palestine enjoys their last moments in the Middle East before traveling to Central Asia. Like in every group, you'll find your showman, your joker, and your new best friends. For his first trip to a foreign country with the squad, US-based Omar Jaroun is learning the trade. Each page of each passport will be studied to the very last detail. Omar is learning lesson 1.
Yeah, 35.
Prerequisite to traveling on a Palestinian status: patience, faith, and a very, very big jar of humor.
This here is a humane experience, and you have to agree there are worse things in life, so we just feel happy wherever we are. The best thing is we enjoy being on the field with the players and the Football Federation and the people we work with. So we all try to make things better for this country and this federation.
Off to the last segment of this first trip, Dubai Dushanbe. The almost good surprise to those who didn't do their homework is that Tajikistan is a fellow Muslim country. The almost bad surprise comes onto the plane in the form of the team of referees for the match. Coach Bezaz seems to remember that one of them had a rather heavy hand last time around. 2 hours and 2,000 euros worth of visas. That's what it takes for the Palestinians to finally exit the Dushanbe airport. It is now past midnight in this former Soviet Union republic. The 1-hour drive to the hotel will give them a chance to realize that bad drivers are an international race. Players are tired and hungry. In fact, eating will prove to be a very good move by Suleiman Obaid. For when the team eventually makes it to the only 3-star hotel located next to the stadium, bad news awaits them. Try filling up a hotel registration form in Cyrillic alphabet at 2 in the morning. 5 witnesses are watching the scene: 4 watermelons, and the ambassador of Palestine in Central Asia. He has brought them along. Why so?
Because we didn't find something to eat.
Nothing has been scheduled for dinner but 4 watermelons, the national fruit in Tajikistan. These won't last. More surprise to come. Water runs thin on the 2nd floor. Worse, on the upper levels, where the players will spend their first night, there is no tap water in most rooms. Same with the showers. Welcome to Tursun Zoda in Tajikistan.
Here's Asia and here is Tajikistan. France, Afghanistan, Kazakhstan, China, and Uzbekistan.
Tursun Zoda is a small town of Tajikistan where water flows everywhere, but from the sky. The climate here in this end of June is hot and dry. Tursun Zoda will host the Afghanistan versus Palestine FIFA World Cup qualifier in 2 days on Wednesday. The local team of Rigar Tadaz plays here in the Metallurg Arena, a multi-purpose stadium that is mainly used for football these days. Entry to the match will be free on Wednesday, but the stadium capacity of 20,000 seats will not be fulfilled. The Afghans are a neighboring country, but their national team does not have many fans abroad.
They also have the problem of the current war in Afghanistan, so they couldn't play any of their matches in Kabul. And in many respects, it's how Palestine has been for the past 20 years. You know, it's racked by war, racked by instability, internal divisions as well. You have tribal conflicts. And these players were playing for a team that is really a rare symbol of unity between the Pashtun and the Farsi speakers, you know, augmented with kind of players from the diaspora. Then you have the Palestinians who are using football in a very political way, who have never had a state but have been racked by the same kind of conflict. So this really it was more than just a game of football. It was politics on a grand international stage.
Dialogues in French between Coach Bezaz and his assistant Uldali. This situation requires a lot of trust from the head coach, who is not a newcomer in the Middle East, having tried out for the Qatari national squad.
He called me, so I figured he was going to offer me a position in Dubai or in Qatar. But he goes, listen, I have a job for you in Palestine. Say, what? Where? Palestine? I promised him I'd think about it. That's when your imagination creates all kinds of scenarios. The bombings, the snipers, the killings. Then I looked at it differently and started thinking that if he could be a coach there, then why couldn't I?
Among the team, complaints are arising regarding the conditions at the hotel. Coach Bezaz reminds them of conditions that were far worse in Nepal, where the team has also traveled in recent times. If some players are convinced and motivated by the coach's speech, some will use this to start partying. Controversy is around the corner on the subject of team captaincy. To make it simple, whoever has the earliest cap is designated captain of the Palestinian team. Goalkeeper Sidawi is usually the captain, but Coach Bezaz has instigated a rotation between the two goalkeepers, and Mohamed Shber will start in goal against Afghanistan. Abdullah Sidawi is fair play and plays on the team B with the substitutes. The oldest capped player on the starting 11 is now Ahmed Keshkesh. He will be the team captain on Wednesday, but with this new position, he's starting to make the coaches beg him to come and stretch. Who said man needs to talk, to communicate? Certainly not Roberto Bishara. As the team enjoys a few moments of freedom after the training, Roberto finds a way to borrow the bicycle of a Tajik boy. The kid is so fascinated by the Palestinian footballers that he might have given up the bike for good had he been asked to. And so goes with all the young population of Tursun Zoda. Team Palestine is even invited to party tonight. For today is Monday, 27th of June, a date that is celebrated throughout Tajikistan. On that date in 1997, the civil war that had destroyed the country since '92 was declared over after intense negotiations. For Coach Bezaz's guys, the celebration will only consist of a short appearance because here, the party nights of this mixed population of Persians, Asians, Soviets and Muslims can be long and hot. Hot is the temperature in the bus as the team heads to the Metallurg for this last training session.
How many degrees?
Mister. 42. 42. Hein? 42. 41 là. 41. Il était à 44 avant. Mais à l'intérieur là, outside. Inside. Outside 42.
Another reason for players to whine. Footballers always do and always will, admits Coach Bezaz. Despite the complaints on the conditions, Team Palestine has it good. The equipment is state-of-the-art and the staff is always available, far from the common prejudice that a Palestinian squad should be poor and ill-equipped.
The complete opposite. Their everyday life is pretty good. They get treated like stars. They even think of themselves as Barca or Real Madrid players. In fact, they watch all the big European football leagues. In their minds, there's no difference between them and those guys. What they fail to see is the tremendous commitment from that type of clubs and that type of players.
Last session. Slowly but surely, the players are finding each other and the back of the net. They even make new fans among the Tajik crowd gathered to attend their training.
I will be rooting for you guys. I will cheer for Palestine and for the Palestinian people. They are Muslims and so are we. Therefore, I will be rooting for you. And inshallah, you will win. May victory be yours. And I hope that more Palestinians will come and visit Tajikistan, the Republic of Tajikistan, where us Muslims also live. May victory be with you.
But as their fan base is widening, the team gets struck by bad luck. Captain-to-be Ahmed Keshkesh has been forced to the side by a heavy tackle. Meanwhile, in the box, forward Murad Elayan feels at ease and could well be the man who would take Palestine to victory. Moussa Bezaz likes a 20-minute team stroll in the streets around the hotel on the morning of the match. He says it helps the team loosen up and, above all, get out of the room to walk freely. For his Palestinian-based players don't always enjoy freedom of circulation.
A year ago last June, we went to play a match in Sudan. My ID and my passport were both issued in Gaza. When we came back from Sudan, they noticed at the bridge that I did not have a permit to stay in the West Bank. They denied me entrance and I had to live for 3 months in Amman in Jordan. I stayed there for 3 months without training. I could neither go back to Gaza nor enter the West Bank. Also, we haven't seen our families for 3 years. This is the burden of the occupation of Palestine. We cannot visit our families.
In the streets of Tursun Zoda, the Palestinian young men are as exotic as can be. Pitied as Tajik women couldn't see Mohammed Shbeir getting his ritual massage before the game. Also ritual is the team speech, and becoming ritual is the late arrival of Ahmed Keshkesh. The ambassador actually has something to say about the Palestinian team's attitude. They represent Palestine here. They are the ambassadors of their land today. If Roberto Bishara still needs translating for the ambassador's speech, the message delivered by Moussa Bezaz leaves no room for misinterpretation.
Talking is easy. Easy. You have to know this. Now you have to prepare the team. To prepare the team for Jordania. 10 days.
We've definitely prepared for the match the way we are supposed to, like professionals. We hope we can make a good result here, and above all, that Afghanistan will come to Ramallah for the second leg. We'll be 200% ready in Ramallah.
The Afghanistan team bus. Finally. The Palestinians have been looking for them for the past 3 days. Besides a short press conference in Dushanbe yesterday, where only the head coach and the captain were present, nobody had seen them at all. 2 hours before kickoff time, here they are. The Soviet Union war-type game of hide-and-seek is over. Now is game time.
The feeling you get there, it's tension, it's anger, it's excitement, and it was incredible. It was electric.
With both Afghans and Palestinians in the same spot, security has been made paramount by the Tajik authorities to ensure full safety in the stadium. It is part of the FIFA requirements, same as the equipment and identity checks, and the very tightly minuted official schedule. As always, the team will take a moment to pray together, and even the foreigners, as they are called, know this much in Arabic. Definitely not a full house, but a good crowd has showed up to see what this FIFA World Cup qualifier has to offer. Not necessarily on the level of play, however. Some just want to hear the national anthems of two countries at war. Not with each other, no, but with a good part of the rest of the planet. And while Palestine uses this football match to march closer to statehood, Afghanistan shows that it does have peaceful relationships with countries in Central Asia. 2 goals, 2 destinies, all this and much more through one thing, football. Palestinian players are clearly not as famous here in Tajikistan as they would love to be, but they do take control of the match right away. The Afghans hardly see the ball, and Murad Elian confirms his good form.
We all know that Murad Elian is at his best in the box. He's got a knack for those goals. The cross from Atef is really top class, and Murad sure finished the job well. We also missed a penalty kick. That was Murad too. Only those who kick them can miss them, as we say, so we will not resent him for it. The second goal was a nice move by Ismail Alamour. And we could have had more goals if we'd passed the ball instead of shooting it sometimes. It could have been a bigger win.
2-0 final score of this first leg that had much to offer, both on the diplomatic side and on the pitch.
It's a good start. I hope we can qualify for the group phase and play among the world's best teams. We deserve this victory. You always want to score more goals, but 2-0 is a good score considering we'll play the second leg at home. We hope there is a second leg. The Afghans said they will try to come. We would love for them to come so we can have a second match to play.
Although disappointed, the Afghan side appears fair play.
I think it was a good game. Palestine, very good team. Credit to them. They played very well. I think for us, getting together 2 days before the match, for most of the team, I think we did well also. Missed a few chances. It was unfortunate, but inshallah, we'll go to Palestine and try to get the victory there. We'll be together a few more days, and we'll see what happens.
As for the Palestinians, they are happy to leave Tajikistan with a 2-0 victory. But there is still a second leg to be played in this World Cup qualifier, and guess what? We'll be in Palestine too.